It is episode 169. Nice. Of Left Side Heavy, the podcast. It's your boy, Jevin LaFave. We got co-host Hayden Bart along with us. How's it going, Hayden? How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad today, other than what we're gonna talk to. So it's a depressed episode today.
It's a depressed episode for sure. But to join us for the ride and the therapy sesh, we got my guy, Emile Tracy, coming back on the show.
Yes, sir.
Tracy, how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Enjoying the nice weather, except today hasn't been the nicest, but been trying to enjoy it as much as I can. Playing some spike ball, you know what I mean? Playing a little bit of golf. It's been fun.
Yeah, spike ball, great game. Low key injury risk is high.
Buddy, did I tell you I hurt my foot literally
Yeah.
yesterday doing it?
No,
It,
I like
it,
just recently.
yeah, I hurt my foot. You know how I broke my foot last summer. It's,
Yeah.
I might be prone to foot injuries in the summer, but yeah, I just like kind of folded like my all my toes when I was running. I like folded them under my foot and like stepped on them. And like
Oh,
kind of like cracked them all. And I was like, oh, like kind of hurt a bit, kept playing. Didn't feel that bad for the rest of the night. I was like, okay, it's kind of sore, but it'll probably clear up by tomorrow. Yesterday morning, I woke up stiff. That my foot was just stiff, could barely walk on it. I was like, damn, iced it. I feel better today. I didn't do
okay.
legs yesterday. I was gonna hit leg day at the gym. I was like, probably
Yeah.
should not do that.
Yeah, off day for the legs.
Yeah, off day for the legs. But yeah, it's definitely an injury prone sport. But my favorite thing to do in the summer, I think, one of mine at least, go to the beach, play it on the sand. Go to a
Yeah.
field, play it on the grass. You can
Yeah.
it's a versatile sport.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Local
it's a good time.
park.
Oh,
Local
anything.
park.
Oh yeah, you can get a tournament going. It's a fun time. It's a good time.
Yeah. But how have you been the past few weeks? Any plans for the summer? Have you been keeping yourself busy? What have you been
Yeah,
up to?
man. I mean, I don't really have too many plans. I'm maybe going to the Stampede in Calgary. Trying to plan that out with some buddies right now. Got to look at some Airbnbs, but I kind of want to go. I've never been to Calgary, so I think that would be a pretty fun trip. Heard it gets really rowdy over there during the Stampede, so I think it'd be a
Yeah.
fun time. And I think Jack Harlow's going, which would be kind of cool to see him. It's not really
Oh,
country though, which is kind of
no.
interesting. You know what I mean? Like I would have expected some country singers, but I
He's
know.
not going to play. He's just gonna go rizz up some cowgirls.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame him? But yeah, not too much. I was maybe gonna go to Enderby for a softball tournament. Been playing a little bit of softball too with my dad's team, and my dad's buddy wanted me to go to Enderby for a tournament they have, but I might not be able to go just because of work.
Yeah.
So, but dude, another great sport, softball. It's fun. It's a fun
Like
time.
slow
Pretty chill.
pitch.
Oh, slow pitch. Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
It's a
you're
it's
just
it's,
yeah,
it's
you're just
chill.
gassing drinks in the dugout, and then it's your turn to swing, and you're seeing three come at you, and you're like, swing for the middle one.
Yeah, exactly. I love spits too, man. Spits are an underrated fucking snack. It's a good
Yeah,
time.
I joined slow pitch just so I could have spits more, just so
Yeah,
I had an
exactly.
excuse. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. I'm a big barbecue guy. I love the barbecue.
Oh,
Good time.
barbecue's A1 for sure. But
Definitely delicious.
yeah, spring season is peaking right now. My allergies are getting worse and worse as the day. This is why it's my least favorite season, solely for the allergies. But let's kick this episode off with question of the week as per usual.
Ooh.
And this one I had trouble thinking of today, and then one came to my head and I was like, no, this is it. This is a good one. And I got an answer for it immediately. If you were commissioner for a day for whatever sport you want, doesn't have to be like hockey, football, it could be whatever one you want, whatever league you want.
Yeah.
If you're a commissioner for the day, Hayden and Emile, what permanent rule change are you making that will go on past your one day? So whether you just revert back to an old one or you come up with something, like I saw one on Instagram and it was like in basketball, if like someone passes to someone who gets fouled and they hit both their free throws, then that guy should get an assist. So
Oh,
like
interesting. Yeah,
I
I can
I
see that.
I heard that and I'm like, that's pretty cool. So what rule change, restructure, expansion, relocate, whatever it is to your sprinkle in the league, if you're a commissioner for a day, what change are you making for whatever sport you want?
I have one immediately off the top of my head. If I was the commissioner of the NBA, and I do not know why this is not a thing. If you challenge a play and you are successful, you keep your timeout, which is what the rule is right now. But you do not have another challenge. If I was a commissioner, you get to have another challenge if your first challenge is successful.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you're right that the refs didn't make the right call. And then you're like, okay, but you can't do that again. So if the refs don't make the right call again, you don't have a challenge. Yeah, I have a timeout, but that's not going to challenge the play. So if you challenge a play, it's whatever, it was, unsuccessful, you lose your challenge. But if it's successful, you keep another challenge. That would be my rule in the NBA.
Yeah, that's just like that's seems like common sense. It was like,
Right?
oh, you got it right. Okay, you get to keep it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, bet. You get it wrong, you lose it, and you lose your timeout. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's just the fact that you don't get to keep your challenge after you get
But you keep a timeout. It's like it's not the same thing.
No, it's
like I just told the refs that's not a foul. It's not a foul. I should keep that because I should be able to say that one more time at least.
yeah.
If it's wrong, then get rid of my timeout. But give me at least 2 if I got the first one right.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to me.
Yeah, that would be mine for sure. That aggravates me, especially when my team gets a good challenge. I'm like, why don't we have another one now? This is brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suns waving Chris Paul. Big news.
Big
hey,
news.
Big news. Hey, what about you? What would you do for your rule change or restructure or whatever?
One that always just goes right back to the heart. I'm gonna make it selective penalties in the NFL. If they purely impact a play, that can only be reviewed. So if like you're a quarterback, you pass the ball to your receiver, there's clear contact on that player, but no call, you can challenge that. If you pass it this way and contact happens this way, it wasn't in the play, doesn't matter, you can't challenge that. And then vice versa for defense, and then the same thing with like roughing the passer and shit like that. If a quarterback gets hit, like, but it has to be like an aggressive, egregious hit. It can't just be like, tapped him on the forehead. That's a penalty for some fucking reason. No, the guy is getting absolutely mutilated by a defensive lineman. That's a penalty. If Tom Brady gets swiped in the face mask, no, that's not a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be the dumbest like thing is like how soft the rough and the passer got because like
it's terrible.
I'm a Brady guy and like I have a Brady bias with like as a Pats fan, but like some of those calls that he got gifted, like by just getting like swiped on the face mask, I was like, all right, dude, like come on, like that's not a penalty. Like let's toughen up here.
There's like I feel like there's a difference between like protecting the quarterback and like just like being ultimately soft in a sport that is not soft in the slightest. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
quarterbacks used to get mauled, and now it's like if you touch them and like you have to follow them a certain way to not get a penalty, and it's like, what? I'm in the zone. I'm playing a game. I'm trying to get that guy. That's my job.
Yeah.
And if I like swipe his mask, I'm getting a penalty. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Takes away from the game. So
yeah, it's terrible. So they're presenting the Conn Smythe right now. I just want to.
Who's it going to?
I think it's going to Eichel.
Is it going to Marshall Show?
I predicted Marchessault, but
after this game,
Eichel had like 4 points this game.
Yeah.
So like
in a 9-goal game though, so like, come on.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think like if it goes to any of Hill, Stone, Marchessault, or Eichel, I wouldn't be surprised.
Which is crazy though, because like I feel like it's normally like pretty evident. It's like either like one or maybe a second person. There's like 3, like you said, maybe even Aiden Hill. He played really well. Who could win this? And it's like, damn. I think it's gonna be Eichel though.
Yeah, let's see live reaction here.
Oh man.
Fuck man, 6 years in and they're hoisting the cup, man.
Dude, haven't they been in the playoffs like each year too?
4 out of the 6 years or
4 out of the
some
6
shit?
years. First year they made it to the fucking finals. Like it's just must be nice being a fucking Vegas fan. Jesus Christ. Hats off to Florida though. Respect.
Marchessault won the Conn Smythe.
Oh, congrats.
Jevy's
Congrats.
prediction. Let's get it.
Congrats. I was listening to David Amber where he's saying that if Marchessault wins it, he's the first undrafted guy to win the Conn Smythe since big old Wayne Gretzky.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Pretty dope. Pretty dope. Undrafted.
Yeah, that's pretty
Props.
dope.
That's
Prop-
insane.
And
Props
it's
to Marchessault.
and it's the ultimate kick in the nuts to Florida because they gave him up in the expansion draft.
Oh, seriously? I didn't even know.
Yeah, Florida gave up Marchessault. Like,
Oh, that's tough.
so yeah, and then just no,
and they
yeah,
just
I think Marchessault is deserving of it.
oh yeah.
Hey, Caleb put in a last minute bet for Eichel to win.
Caleb's betting now?
He just saw it and he saw that Eichel was the third favorite to win it at like plus 2,000, and he was like, he's the leading scorer on his team, and he's like the primary assist on all of Marchessault's goals. So
Yeah.
he's like, so he put like $200 on it to win like 2,000 or something, or like whatever. And I was like, honestly, like
Dude, that would have been a decent win.
and honestly, like for the number,
If
I
it
would
was
have placed that bet too.
2,000 if it was 2,000 to 1 odds, he would have won so much money.
Yeah, it was like I can't remember the exact odds and whatever, but like, yeah, he put a shit ton of money on it,
Holy fuck.
and I was
Well,
like,
what's going on at LCP where Caleb's now a fucking gambling guy?
and Caleb was like, I don't do this, but I just saw this one time, and I'm like, I'm gonna like,
Yeah, he's
money
never
in.
doing it again.
No,
No,
and
no,
he
not
said
after
that.
this. No.
And he said that he's like, I'm not gonna make it like a normal thing to gamble, but I just feel like this bet is just like too good to like pass up on. Cause like
Yeah.
he's like, I think Eichel should win it, and if he's a third favorite, then I'm gonna place a bet. Like the number's just too
I
whatever.
tell you what, if Eichel split as many goals with Marchessault, it easily would have gone to him, especially after tonight's game.
Yeah, I just think like Marchessault, when like the goals were scored and like the goals he was scoring, they came at such big moments that like it just stood out to me. But
Yeah.
before we move on, I want to give my answer for the rule change. I am going back to 1-8 format in the NHL playoffs. I'm getting rid of the division. I'm going 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, 4v5 for the playoffs. I think that makes the most sense. I think a lot of people would agree with me in this. But yeah, I just like don't like the format it's at right now. And
Confusing.
yeah, and it's just
It can get confusing.
Yeah, it's just so dumb. And
It is dumb.
I really like just being able to look at Western Conference, Eastern Conference, and just be like 1-8 instead of like having to like look at the divisions and be like, oh, like who's there, and
yeah,
stuff.
and it's like situations where it's like Calgary had more points than Florida, but like they missed the playoffs and Florida didn't. And it's like I know there are different conferences, but it's situations like that where it's like, oh, just because my division has like
Is good.
more
stacked
it's
division.
better than this, I'm missing the playoffs because of this team. It just seems like severely unfair. Like
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
So yeah, Riley Smith got the cup second. So whoever had that bet, cash it. But yeah, that's my rule change here. But answer below. Comment on the YouTube what your rule change would be if you're a commissioner for a day. Let's review this series, the Stanley Cup final. So Vegas beats Florida in 5 with a very convincing Game 5 win, 9-3. Mark Stone got a hattie with some help from an array of different players: Riley Smith, Alec Martinez, Nick Hague, Nick Waugh, bunch of different guys, but just a domination from start to finish. Emile, going into the series, did you predict any of this pure dominance from Vegas, or did you kind of have hope that it'd be a more balanced series?
I definitely thought it was going to be more of a balanced series, at least just with the way Florida's been playing as well. I thought that it was going to be a dog fight, especially like over the past like the first 2 games. Even though Vegas won both, they were both like decent games. I thought. I know Vegas kind of pulled away in the second one, but They're both decent games. Then Florida won the first one at home, and I was like, oh, like let's go. Like Florida wins the second one, it's tie series. But after that second game, that first game at home, Florida just kind of let it go a bit. I mean, it was a 3-2 game against Vegas, but you can't go back to Vegas 3-1 down. And look what happened. 9-3. Like, I don't think that's a huge, huge loss. Like, that dressing room in Florida, like that Florida dressing room, it must just be silent. You
Oh
lose
yeah.
9-3 in a do or die game for the Stanley Cup, and you made the playoffs because Pittsburgh lost to Chicago, and you've got this far. You beat Boston, the best team in the league. Then you beat Toronto, and then you beat Carolina. And you beat Toronto and Carolina pretty convincing,
Oh yeah.
pretty good.
8-1.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think Bobrovsky kind of his that spark he had may have kind of died out, but Vegas is just a hell of a team though too. They got literally the best D core in the NHL. There's not much to be said about it. Like you can't that's just dangerous. And then Aiden Hill playing pretty good, but they don't really need that great of a goalie when you have that good of a D core. Like the puck's out of zone all the time for them. They don't make mistakes. Rarely do they make mistakes in their own end. And then they got Eichel, Stone. They got good vets. Marchessault, Riley Smith, Carlson. They got all those guys. It's a great team. So
yeah, just like Aiden Hill he was magnificent. He had like a 935 save percentage going into this game, but he didn't have to make any
insane
desperation
saves. Yeah.
saves because of how solid Vegas's D was. But Hayden, what do you think went wrong for Florida? Because when we were on pit day, when we were watching the game in Duncan's backyard, it was pretty competitive in the first half of the game, I would say, and then Vegas kind of broke it open, and then it was kind of sayonara from there on out. What went wrong for Florida from the start that you noticed?
The rest versus rust whole debate. They look rested and they look like they were done. Right from the get-go, I don't want to beat it like a dead horse. Game was called convincingly. I said that was gonna happen. I thought right then and there it would turn around. Nothing. Bobrovsky flatlined. And the biggest thing, not even from the get-go, but kind of from the get-go, Florida's power play. It was heaters through the first 3 series. At least they could get something. They got nothing.
Yeah.
So by the time I watched the first goal and then the second goal happen, halfway through, I finished Breaking Bad because fuck that game. I was like, I don't even want to watch the rest of this game. There's no hope anymore. You give up 4 goals in the second fucking period. It's like,
it was
yeah,
2-1. It was 2-1. And it was
yeah,
2-1.
2-1. And then the game just got away from them. Bobrovsky's magic definitely vanished for this series. And it's heartbreaking because he truly had Conn Smythe names, even if they lost in game 7.
Yeah.
Like he could have been the next JSG Garrett, but it would have been more relevant at this day and age because of social media, and shit like that. So you can't really say much other than Vegas, hats off to them. That was one of the greatest penalty killing teams in a Stanley Cup final. That has to be the greatest penalty killing team in the finals ever, right?
Just like
surely
best defensive cores, like Emile said in the Stanley Cup playoffs, like in history. Just like Alec Martinez is their smallest defenseman. He's 6'2", 215.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, man. And they got Martinez won a cup, Petrangelo won a cup. Then they got Nick Hague, White Cloud. Theodore is disgusting.
He's Hayden. Sorry, like Edie, Brandon Edie was saying that Theodore kind of reminds him of Devon Taves. Like they're both very similar. They're like that smooth offensive style, like two-way defenseman where they can kind of break it open with their like
Skating ability.
yeah, skating and just like IQ as a whole. And it's just like when you got Theodore and then Pietrangelo and then just like the size, it's like how can you break anything open
Yeah.
past these guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. So I want to rewind back to game 3 because we last time we recorded it was 2-0 Vegas. So game 3, Florida, obviously a must-win game. Not like an elimination game, but you can't go down 3-0 to Vegas going. It's just impossible. So they had to win game 3. And things started off hot with the Dan Marino cameo at the start, banging the old drum to get the fans going. But it was Florida was playing like it was an elimination game, and Vegas just kind of got the hops instead of Florida. But Hayden, if you could if you have any recollection of game 3, if you could rewind back to game 3, what were your kind of thoughts on the energy that Florida brought to this game and their ability to just take it as a whole?
Well, obviously going into overtime was huge in itself because that's how I kind of expected every game to go past game 1. Close games right down to the wire, and that last minute goal was just huge. Like that was just, this is where it happens for Florida. This is where like the turntables happen. This is where it just goes off. And then they put it in too. And it was like, all right, now Florida's rocking. You know, the building's on like fucking fire. Everyone's hype. And then I don't know. Like, you can't replicate the type of season that Florida has had through this whole year. Beat the teams you've beaten in the playoffs and then come out, put up 2 stinkers, and then win a close, tight game like that in Florida, and then not have anything better to show for it.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking because I wanted this playoffs to last until past my birthday here. You know, I wanted to have, you know, a better weekend, but now I got to look at this shit. What a
Yeah. I mean,
what a terrible Tuesday night.
yeah, I mean, I think after that third game, because Florida hadn't like when they won that game in overtime, they hadn't lost. I think they've won every single overtime they've been in this playoffs. So
Yeah.
that should have been their sign to be like, okay, if we're gonna win this series, like they need to be close games.
Yeah.
Like they have to be close games. And that's where I feel like they thrived these entire playoffs. Where when the games were tight, they were there to score. Like even just against Boston in game 7, they were down, scored that big goal, and then won it in overtime. Like I felt like when the pressure was on them, they were able to really capitalize on that. But they just like, and then in game 4, you think, okay, well, Matthew Tkachuk scores a big goal last game, and maybe he has a big game that game, and they come out flat, and then they're just chasing that game. They lose it 3-2. They come back and score 2 goals, and then like just today is just honestly an embarrassing performance.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact they came back, they made it 2-1, but then they give up 4 goals. Like just getting like you get a goal, you should be fired up. You want to go back to Florida now, score another goal, and then maybe bring it to overtime or something. Then you give up 4 goals in the second period, but they gave up 4 goals in the span of like felt like 5-10 minutes. Like it was a joke. They were just getting dominated.
Yeah, they gave up
in their
2
own
in like
zone.
one shift.
Yeah, they were just getting dominated. Vegas was like, no, like we're gonna come out hot now, and they were just flying in their offensive zone, doing whatever they wanted, and Florida looked lost.
Yeah.
And Bobrovsky, I mean, yeah, his spark kind of went out, but he wasn't getting too much help back there. Anyways, like it was pretty brutal watching them in their own zone. So
Yeah.
It was really tough watching, especially today. But like, there's a lot of situations where I felt Bobrovsky was like, there's only so much he can do, and I just felt like some of the puck wasn't necessarily lane the way he wanted to. Like, it would just slip between his arm, and then he would go and cover it, and then it would bounce off his skate
Yeah.
somehow and go right to a Vegas guy, and they'd score. It was just like things just weren't working out for him the way they were in the first 3 series.
Yeah.
And that's just so unfortunate against a highly disciplined, deep team in Vegas. But I wanted to go to game 4. Brooks Koepka firing up the crowd. But I felt like Florida was like they couldn't capitalize on their chances. And when I noticed that in game 4 that Kachuk missed 2 wide open nets. And mind you, he was probably obviously like in warmups he was lingering. He had an injury lingering from that hit in Colasar in game 3. Like his shoulder was really bugging him, so I just don't think things were really operating the same way for him. Couldn't bang home any chances, and then Vegas just Chandler Stevenson, man, he scoring a minute and a half in, scoring 2. Vegas is 8-0 on the road when Stevenson scores. So as soon as he put that in a minute and a half, it was basically book it for Vegas. They're going home 3-1. And it just felt like Florida couldn't, like, you need to capitalize on chances if you want to win. And if you can't do that, then you're not helping yourself. And again, against a team like Vegas, you got to capitalize on every open net that you can. And it just felt like they shot themselves in the foot when they couldn't score that.
Yeah. And like you only get so many chances in the playoffs. Like when you get a chance, you got to be able to bury it, and it's gonna haunt you afterwards if you don't bury those. So obviously, and then today they just came out so flat. So
yeah. What did you guys think of the scrum at the end of game 4? It was Montour came in flying and hit McNabb right in the back, and then all hell broke loose. Aiden Hill was throwing punches with his blocker, I think, against Reinhardt, and then Pietrangelo came out of the box and went to the scrum. Do you think there should have been any sort of discipline handed out after that? Or do you think it was just let dudes be dudes and figure it out?
Let dudes be dudes. It's clearly an emotional game and an emotional ending, especially when it's a 6-on-4. You got the 17 seconds of power play time, and it's like, yeah, they're probably gonna wear their emotions on their fists and probably display those fists to other people's faces. Yeah, you could lay down the law, but it's like if you do that, you're gonna get so much backlash from people being like, "Why the fuck is this happening?" Like, let them play. People want rivalries. People want to get emotionally invested about random people playing against each other. So I say let have it.
oh
Let
yeah,
all the emotion in the world go.
oh yeah, let it go, let it go. Like think about the guys. Like think about Montour. It's not the smartest thing to do, and obviously he knew he was gonna get some sort of retaliation after that. He didn't go in there just thinking he was going to be able to nail McNabb into the net and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to walk away now."
Yeah.
So like he's frustrated. They're down 3-1 in a series, and you can't blame them. They're in the Stanley Cup final. They're all hurting. They're all trying their best. You know what I mean? And like it's just frustration at that point, and you gotta let them play. And it's not like Vegas backed down either. So it's just a good scrum. Whatever happens, and it was good.
Yeah, because a lot of people were like screaming about Pietrangelo leaving the box, and then people were like sending Friedman the rule about anytime a player leaves the bench or penalty box immediately to the scrum, that's a 10-game suspension or some shit like that.
Jeez.
I don't know if it's 10-game. I may have heard the number wrong, but it's a suspension regardless. And then apparently the rule is if you don't like instigate anything, like you're not the instigator, then it's completely nullified. Like he didn't go in and instigate a scrum. He went in to kind of spread it and like
Even out,
tone,
even out the
tone it down a bit. And then Kachuk went after Pietrangelo. So like for that reason, like I agree, like Pietrangelo shouldn't have got anything because he didn't do anything. He just went in there to just like calm things down, I guess.
yeah.
So Yeah, I don't know. I kind of understood what Montour was trying to do. He was trying to maybe draw Vegas into doing something dumb. I wanted Florida to win, so I honestly think everyone should have been suspended for the rest of the series, just to make it fair. But yeah, I think it was complete bullshit that no one got any discipline. Go Florida. But Vegas Golden Knights 14-0 when scoring 3+ goals. So file that in your um file that in the bank.
What
But
does that mean? They have a good D. They have
yeah,
a good D. They're
yeah,
not letting more than 3 goals past them. So
it's unbelievable.
yeah.
So game 5 tonight, we've kind of talked a bunch about it, but Stone I think is going for a second lap right now. He deserves it. But I just think to sum it up, I mean, Kachuk was out. That's not a good start either. Denisenko made his NHL debut. Hell of a game to make your NHL debut in the Stanley Cup final elimination game. But
No pressure.
yeah, no pressure at all. But to sum it up, I think Florida shot themselves in the foot with that shorthanded goal to Stone. The very first goal of the game, they have a power play to break the ice, and a stupid unforced turnover from Bennett releases Stone on a 2-on-1 and he shelves it. And I was like, it's over. There's no way Vegas is losing this game after breaking the game open like that. But when did you realize that Florida lost this game tonight?
The second goal for Vegas. The second goal for Vegas was just like, yeah, the first one was bad, but it's like, okay, come on, let's get it out. But then the second goal and how it just that scramble happened and how it played out was like, all right, it's Vegas's night. there's there's nothing Florida can do now.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Yeah, I was a bit confused on why that was called a goal, but I mean, whatever. I thought I heard the whistle before the like going in. I don't know. It was kind of confusing.
I did too, but I was just like, I don't like I thought it went, and like I thought like the whole intent, like I intended to blow the whistle was the thing, so it's no goal, but like
I also
yeah,
thought like Bobrovsky, like I thought he like kind of covered it for like at least like a good second, maybe. And like the ref doesn't see the puck. Like, aren't you supposed to blow the whistle? And I think he did. And then like the puck went in after and they called it a goal. I'm like, what? That's
yeah, I was kind of confused by that too, because I thought
yeah.
it was just like the ref is always like, no, I intended to blow the whistle, so it's no goal. And it's
He
like,
actually blew it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before so yeah, I
But
was
for
kind of
me, but for me, I thought, I mean, I didn't think the game was over then because then Florida scored 2-1. It was after the third or fourth goal where it would just look like Vegas was just completely dominating in their zone. It was like, I mean, I watch a lot of the Canucks and it looked like the Canucks D out there just like
yeah.
running around in their own zone. No one has anybody. It was just like Vegas was just skating. Every battle was won by Vegas. And I was like, yeah, Florida's done. Florida's done. They're gassed. They got nothing left in the tank and they're just running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, just trying to get the puck out of their zone. And then when they do get the puck out of the zone, then like they came back, Martinez scores, like shelves it. And I'm like, it's game. It's
Yeah.
over. It's done.
Yeah, they were just nonstop. Their third and fourth lines were just so like they were pests out there, causing turnovers, causing ruckus, not giving Florida a chance to breathe, and then they would capitalize on turnovers. Eichel was just a fucking madman out there. His puck control was something I hadn't seen before.
He's got good patience too.
Yeah.
He's
No, it was a amazing breakout. Congratulations to Vegas. They are my least favorite team in the league, but congratulations to Vegas. They fucking deserved it. They played one of the best playoff runs I've seen just in terms of team depth and execution. They played unbelievable. And Florida, holy fucking shit. You come in, you inch your way in, and then you beat the first, second, and third ranked team in the East,
yeah.
and then you play in the fucking Stanley Cup final. I think the rest was the worst thing that could have happened to them. They wanted that Vegas-Dallas series over as soon as possible. But unfortunately, Dallas just had to win 2 games and give them 10 days off. I think if Vegas swept Dallas, they would have had like 5 days off as opposed to 10. And I think that really fucked with them. So I think timing was just not on their side. They relied a lot on momentum, but congratulations to both teams. They both deserve to be there in the end.
Yeah, shout out
Also,
Florida for eliminating Boston. Sorry, shout out Florida.
yeah, big facts.
Yeah, that was a hell of a fucking series. So that was good stuff.
Also, just released, of course, talking about Kachuk. He had a broken sternum in games 3 and 4. It was so bad that he had to be helped out of bed from Brady.
Wow.
He couldn't sit up on his own.
Sternum?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, that's not good.
No,
Last time
not
I checked, he
good.
shouldn't be playing hockey. Like,
Scoring tying goals with 2 minutes left in fucking game 3.
wonder what they're giving him before the games, because that is insane. That is
Yeah,
insane.
they're giving him
Playing with
fucking something.
Yeah, they're giving him something to null that pain, because that is insane.
Jesus.
No wonder he didn't play today. He's probably like, yeah, no, I'm drugged up today, boys. I'm not playing. Like,
Yeah, no, so obviously you're gonna find out everything right after a
Oh, there's
game
gonna be a
about what
laundry
people
list of injuries.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
100%. Like I wouldn't be surprised if half the
Barkov's
people
gonna
on
be
the
playing through
team.
something.
Oh
Or like a
yeah.
sprained AC joint and
Yeah.
fucking
Montour's gonna have a broken arm. Like,
Oh well,
Yeah.
you know Montour's arm definitely popped out of the socket in what was it, game 2, game 3? Something like that, where he left
dislocated shoulder or something. Like,
yeah, it definitely popped
I feel like
out.
the same thing's gonna go with Vegas. Like, some of those guys are gonna have
Of
absolutely
course.
brutal
Of
injuries,
course.
and that's just the way it is for the Stanley Cup playoffs, man. Like, you don't want to
Yeah.
miss a game, and the fact that Kachuk, I'm not surprised you're saying it's a broken sternum, because the fact that he missed today's game,
It would have had
no,
to have been something like a broken sternum.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you know that guy does not want to miss a do or die game where they've been just playing such good hockey, and he's like, I don't want to go out, and he's not even playing the game that they lose, and you know what I mean? And that's got to hurt for him, but hopefully he gets better this summer. But that's tough. He was fun to watch. I love Kachuk, man.
Most broken sternums are caused by car crashes. In the most cases, a broken sternum will heal on its own, but it can take up to 3 months or longer.
And he just took a hit from Kolasar. Kolasar's a fucking beast.
He is
dude.
huge. Yeah, so with all that in mind, hats off to Matthew Tkachuk as being like a true warrior.
He's a dog. Calgary, how does that trade feel? He's a dog.
Yo, Hayden, I think it just takes 3 months for the pain to go away. Like that's what it says here. Not for it to heal, just for you to not feel the pain anymore. But it still might need like a couple more months to like fully like not be fractured. Like, and he played a hitting league with a broken sternum in the NHL and scored
2 games.
And scored goals still. That's
no
wonder he only played like 3 shifts in game 4 in the third period. Like,
you had to have known
insane.
something was kind of up, because even in game 4, he wasn't on for like the bigger moments, you know. He was only on, like, the only big moment I can remember was him being on for like the last 15 seconds.
Well,
he just didn't look right.
Well, in game 4, he was out for the last 2 minutes, and that was one of his 3 shifts in the final 10 minutes or something. And shifts are like an average of 45 seconds. So it's like you get a lot. You should usually get a lot of shifts in a 10-minute period. He only got 3. Yeah. So that's just crazy. But yeah, once again, Vegas, Aiden Hill, Theodore, Eichel, Marcia. So the list goes fucking on. Captain Mark Stone, Petrangelo. They all deserve the cup. It was just an unbelievable finals performance from them. And yeah, congratulations, but fuck you.
Fuck you for being in the league for 6 years and having all this fucking success.
2 cup finals appearances. My God.
Must
Ah,
be nice. Must be nice.
must be nice. But we'll move on. Get into the game notes here than the NHL. The Ottawa Senators saga is finally done. They have sold to Michael Andlauer.
Yeah, that's an interesting last name.
Yeah, for Michael Grubauer. No, Michael Andlauer for $950 million USD,
Woo!
but only 90% of the team. The Milnick family is keeping 10% of it. So they're still getting some revenue coming in, but Andlauer has the uh owner's rights or whatever, decision rights. Like he can choose whatever happens with the team, but the Milnick family is still attached to the team, just 10% of it. So what do you think's next for Ottawa? Do you think like this is the start of a like obviously a new ownership typically is positive for some teams, but sometimes it's negative. So do you think like this is some positive steps for Ottawa to maybe gain some traction in a new stadium and just like some overall fandom across the league?
No, I don't think so. I think they were better off picking Snoop Dogg. No, I'm joking.
100%.
No, I'm joking. I think it'll be good. Yeah, I hear they're gonna try to get a new stadium up in Ottawa. So yeah, I guess new ownership will be good. I think they gotta deal with the Brinket here. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. But yeah, I mean, I think Ottawa honestly is not on the down. They're on the come up. So I think it's good. I think it's good. They got a new owner. They got a couple good pieces on their team. I really like. Is it not Shabbat? It's
Sanderson?
no the what's the Jacob Chikrin? My bad.
Oh,
Jacob Chikrin. And yeah, they picked him up and they were making a push for the playoffs, but then they kind of faded away near the end of the season. But I think they'll definitely be in the mix next year for sure and for years to come. So yeah, good for Ottawa. I don't have too much to say about them, but good for them for getting a new owner and figuring everything out. But Snoop Dogg would have been gangster for sure.
or Daddy Reynolds. That would have been cool too.
Yeah, that would have been sick too. He should own the Canucks, though. That'd be dope.
Yeah, he's saving his money for the Canucks.
Yes, please take it over, buddy. Please.
Yeah. We should all just like kind of like throw Aquilini under the bus somehow, make up
Yeah.
a lie, and then get Reynolds in there.
Yeah. Get
But
Deadpool.
yeah, 100%. He can't wear a suit. He has to wear his Deadpool suit.
He just in the press box with the Deadpool suit. That'd be kind of sick.
That'd be elite. But yeah, I think this is a excellent like buy low opportunity because like you said, Ottawa's on the come up, and for $950 million, like I think they're going to be worth a lot more than that in like 5 to 10 years. So I think it's like excellent spot to just like fresh start for the team. They can take it in any direction they want because Melnick kind of fucked them over for a few years. It just kind of stalled any progression for the team. But yeah, I mean, like this, despite the DeBrincat thing, who I saw a rumor that he might want to go to Florida, so could be interesting there. But yeah, I think Ottawa has a bright future ahead. Hayden, do you have any words on this? Any thoughts?
I don't really know too much about said buyer who did buy it, but I do believe, yes, it is a great investment opportunity, as is buying any sports team, especially a prominent league like the NHL.
In the nation's
Definitely.
capital, too.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Not only do you have that, but yeah, the NHL looks like it's more or less coming up on the come up. You know, there's a lot of younger faces looking at it more and more. America's trying to get into it more and more. A lot of people are pushing for it. So to have any ownership in a team where it's not at the best place as it is, but there's pieces everywhere. And if they have success in 2 years, you've already multiplied, your investment by who knows at that point.
Yeah.
So absolutely. If I had a Billy in the bank, I would be going up to many banks and saying, hey, any sports team,
Yeah.
like, what do we think? Literally
Cash.
yeah, literally just show them like the progression, like the craziest one, obviously the Commanders, Dan Snyder. I don't know if we really talked about it just because it's been on the DL, but he's officially sold to Josh Harris, owner of like the 76ers or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And he bought it for 980 mil or something like that from his dad,
Jesus.
and he sold it for 7 billion in
Yeah.
like 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's he doesn't have to work another day in his life.
No, and get this, is one of the worst franchises ever.
Because of him.
Because of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did nothing. I think Washington got a full F in every sort of grade for anything that they did for performance reviews of like their state and where they are. And it sold for 7 billion. So
Yeah.
now imagine what the best team would sell for.
Yeah.
Like,
He did nothing but get
unbelievable.
criminal charges attached to his name. It was just
Yeah, and then just terrorize Sean Taylor's memorial.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Terrible human. But yeah, that's the Senators' sale. So I'm excited to see what the next steps are in the off season and just years to come for the team, because I do think they're on the come up and they're going to be a playoff team between now and 3 years. I honestly believe that.
Hey, and you know what? I'm all for more Canadian teams in the playoffs. I know people might hate on that. I don't care. I want to see more Canadian teams in the playoffs. I don't need to see them win. I would much rather see my Canucks win, but when that's not happening, I'd much rather see a Canadian, because like they're like there's just like all American teams. There's all American teams after the second round, and it's like, oh, it's just a little less motivating to watch games, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like I don't really need to go out of my way to watch Dallas and Vegas. I'll still watch it, but if I'm not around, I don't need to be looking at the scoreboard. I'll just watch the highlights at the end of the night. You know what I mean? I don't need to be keeping an eye out for them. So yeah. And I do not mind Ottawa. They're one of my I don't mind them. They're not the Leafs, like the
Leafs or Calgary, you can stay away from the finals, but any other team,
I don't mind. I mean, also I'm not a huge fan of the Jets, but whatever. I know you are, since you
Yeah,
actually now that I think about it, you've watched the Stanley Cup champions play. Respect.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Look at that.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Sell my towel that I got at the game. It's like, yo, trust me, this is when they played Vegas, believe me.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, we're gonna go to coaching hires. Peter Laviolette is hired by the New York Rangers. This is his 5th team in the Metro, not just as a whole. This is his 5th team he's coached in the Metropolitan Division. So 3 to go after this one to complete the gauntlet of all 8 teams in the Metro. He had a 115, 78, and 27 record with Washington this past 3 years. Yeah, he's on a 6th team. He's coached Washington, Carolina, Philly, the Islanders, and Nashville, and went to the finals with Nashville, Philly, and Carolina, and won a cup with Carolina. 6th team, obviously starting in Manhattan. What do you boys think of this hire? Do you think they should have gone new, or do you think it's good that they kind of went with a recycled coach who's been there before, who's won, and is experienced?
I think the experience is good. I just think like New York really fumbled the bag in the playoffs. Like I don't know how they didn't make it out of the first round, right? They didn't make it out of the first round, which is just insane to me with the squad they put together. So I guess Gerard Gallant just really wasn't cutting it. And sometimes the coach is going to go bye-bye, and they got a new one in here. Hopefully he can help. He's got more experience, I guess. Like you said, he's been to the finals. He's done all that. So hopefully that can help with the team that they'll have next year. Because, I mean, like they got the pieces to go on a run. And if they have the right coach, I guess that's what's missing. I'm not too sure, but I don't see any real weakness in their lineup with the team that they were playing with against New Jersey. They just couldn't get it together at all against a real inexperienced team. So that was really surprising to me, but yeah, it's a good coaching hire, I think. Good experience. So we'll see how it goes next year. But honestly, I can't even predict it because I predicted New York to get at least to like the 3rd round, and they didn't even do that. So I can't really say much.
Yeah. Hayden, any thoughts on the hire?
Yeah, I think it's a good hire. I mean, the experience probably just speaks for itself in the hiring and why they went with oh my god, I'm blanking. Why they went
Laviolette.
with why they went with Laviolette. So that just but then it's like, I don't know. He has kind of been recycled. Maybe do get some new blood in there. I don't fucking know. New York is such a weird team because
Yeah.
it's like I thought they were gonna go far like you did, Emile, and they didn't.
And the thing is, you can put so much emphasis on the coach, but it's really the players that need to go out and perform. And like they did not do that in the slightest. And
Exactly.
I don't
There's
know if
only so
that's
much you can do with coaching when, you see the same guy for like 2 minutes and then he's out. And then
Yeah.
it's like, all right, let's recycle it. And let's watch while I'm trying to talk to these people. Like there's so much that just goes on. No wonder you need assistant coaches.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
oh, it's hard to tell. Maybe going with a new, like someone not as recycled as Laviolette would be better, but it's definitely just for the sake of like, all right, maybe some continuity can be built up with this guy.
Yeah, or
Maybe
maybe it
some
was like
buy-in.
a or maybe it was like the kind of the same thing with like a lot of NBA players, like they want a coach out or whatever. It's kind of like maybe the players wanted just a new voice in the room or something. Who knows, right? But
Mm-hmm.
maybe someone with more experience. But yeah, I just if I was a player, I don't know if I could put blame that much on the coach as it is on like you're a really good team. How are you not performing to like a decent, like a good, like,
Mm-hmm.
how are you not just like competing at a decent level? Like that game 7 against New Jersey was embarrassing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't good.
It was
Embarrassing,
terrible.
man. I was
Yeah.
like, what is this? These are guys who have won cups. These are like, if there's like the second best decor, I'm going New York. Like the Rangers, they have a unreal decor, not as big as Vegas, but more skilled in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like they just came out with an embarrassing performance. And like, I don't know, maybe a coaching change is what they need, but you can also think maybe they should have gone with somebody already in the organization. Who knows? Maybe promote an assistant coach. But that's what makes me think maybe they wanted a new voice, a completely new voice in the room to take charge and kind of lead the troops.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like Laviolette because he's been there 3 times and he's won one, and he like with Washington, they're an older team. Yeah, they're still good, but they're an older team, and he had a pretty good record with them, like 115, 78, and 27. Like that's still a pretty good record with an older team. So I think if you got some younger, like a younger squad in there who's like good enough to go on a run, I think like it's a good start to come in. And like Gerard Gallant, he's been good, but like when you really think about it, he hasn't had a ton of postseason success. He's coached good regular season teams, but he hasn't really done anything in the playoffs. So I think like Laviolette as a hire, I can see the bright spots in it for sure. But I'm still questioning on whether or not they should have gone new and within the organization who knows the team better. But if they were looking for experience, like Chris Drury, if he was looking for experience and wanted a coach who's had a decent resume in the playoffs, then I think Laviolette's a really good candidate. I heard John Hines, Nashville's old coach, was also in the running for it, but I think Laviolette has a good track record and is more than qualified to get
Yeah.
this job. But Ryan Huska was promoted. Speaking of hiring within the team, Ryan Huska was promoted to head coach for Calgary. He was assistant coach for the past 5 years, as Daryl Sutter is obviously relieved of his duties. But
Stealing
yeah, I don't necessarily know a ton about Huska. I know he had success in the A before going to assistant and then getting hired there. A lot of people were kind of up in arms, questioning whether or not they should have brought their 2-time coach of the year from the A up as head coach, but I don't think he's been coaching pro for that long, so I think they want to season him for a bit. But I don't really expect you guys to know a ton about this, but what do you think about this hire in Calgary?
I feel like this kind of goes against what I just said about getting a new voice in the room because they just promoted within, and those Calgary players were the players that were saying that they're going to leave unless they get a new coach, right? Like there were some players in there saying that after the regular season that, I want to get traded if Sutter's here next year. So they stay within the organization, promote their assistant coach. So maybe they liked what he was bringing to the table, and just Sutter was maybe kind of just like an old apple in the room that nobody really liked, a bad apple, I mean. So, don't know too much about this Huska guy, but hopefully he does all right with the organization. I don't really care too much about the Flames, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Same.
But definitely disappointment they didn't make it to the playoffs, so they had to do something, right? So
Yeah.
I guess promoting within is what they went with. Don't know if he's got that much experience like Laviolette.
No.
Like, I mean, he's just been an assistant coach, probably his first time head coaching. So it'll be pressure for him next season because Calgary does not want to have the same result they had this year, missing the playoffs. So he better start getting to work now, I think.
I agree. Hayden?
Yeah, I agree as well. I don't really know much about this hire like collectively.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much
But
about him either.
I mean, it's an internal hire, so I presume there's going to be like a lot of, maybe some things that Sutter kind of told this guy and maybe talked to him about it and gave him some key pointers, which hopefully he doesn't take everything that Sutter did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe, like a good mix of it, I'm sure is what, can maybe make a winning recipe. It's just how will the players perform?
Yeah.
We were just talking about New York, fucking Calgary. Speaking of players not performing, Huberdeau is one of the biggest eyes on me candidate of the year. So
Biggest drop off in NHL history.
absolutely.
But yeah, I like the trial of doing it. I mean, he has relationships with the players, and I truly think it wasn't just like if we don't get a new coach like from outside, I'm leaving. I just think it was strictly a Sutter thing.
Yeah.
And I think he had way too much control in the room, and it was either like his way or the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just like made a bad rap and bad morale for the team overall, and played a big part in why they didn't do good this year. And I honestly think like it's going to be a much better season this year for Calgary with this new coach, new front office, just new regime overall. And like I said, like I don't think they're going to be like Vegas Golden Knights kind of top team, but I think they can play for the top, like a top 3 spot in the division. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they're like the 3rd team in the division. And Huberdeau plays the way he usually does. Markstrom plays a lot better. Like I just think Calgary, everything regarding that team besides Toffoli maybe was
Yeah.
shit. Like Huberdeau was shit. Uyghur wasn't good. Markstrom wasn't playing up his caliber. Sorry, I got sneeze.
Oh, ghost
But
sneeze.
yeah, I just think nothing was working for Calgary, whether it was from coaches to players. Like it was just a shit show of a season, and they just barely missed the playoffs. So I think the Pacific's getting stronger with how Seattle and LA played, like Edmonton and Vegas, obviously. So I think it's going to be a competitive, but I still think Calgary is more than capable of making some noise this year with just everything new. And this assistant coach doesn't have to come into a new team and try to gain relationships. He already knows everyone. He knows the system he likes to run. He was working, I'm pretty sure he was the special teams and defensive coach for Calgary. So like he kind of just already has relationships with that kind of thing, and like he knows what to change. So I think Calgary is set up well for a much better season, and I think they're a candidate for a point progressive team for next year. So only time will tell, though. Only time will tell.
So,
Front office news: Shane Doan was hired by Toronto as the special advisor to the GM. So he is Tree Living's bitch. No, I'm kidding. What do you boys think of this? I think it's an incredibly smart move by Doan to go to just a lot more solid organization than Arizona. But he said it in his words alone. It was just like, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. How can I not turn that down? Like how can I turn that down? Right? And like obviously they haven't had the success, but just the history behind the team and this how much more solid they are, I would take a job there as well. But what do you boys think of this hire?
I think it's a good hire. It's solid all around. And yeah, how could you not go to Toronto? It's like the biggest hockey capital in the NHL. Even if their drought is 100 years in climbing, there's still the Toronto Maple Leafs, an original six team. There's so much history. So having your name etched in that team, icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is good for Doan, like you said. I think job security came in to his mind as well because the Coyotes are up in the air right now. So I think going to Toronto, he knows he's going to be there. They're not going anywhere. So just, and also, being a part of a more meaningful team in a way. Because, Toronto's, they're always going to be in the mix regardless of who they have on their team, in the media, whatever they're doing. They're always going to be a big talking point. So I think, yeah, it's a good move for him. And yeah, it's just interesting how he left the Coyotes. But who knows how long they're going to last. So
Yeah.
I think that's really what came into his mind. And you're not going to turn that down. Like you said, there's no way you're going to turn down a job with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And you don't have that much pressure on you as the advisor for the GM.
Yeah.
You're not getting all of that hate or whatever, like we saw from Kyle Dubas or, all the headlines and stuff. So he's just going to be, like you said, talking to the GM, giving him pointers, whatever. And it's not like he hasn't been a part of the game for how long? 30 plus years probably. So yeah, he knows what he's talking about. So it's a good move for the Leafs and a good move for Doan as well.
Yeah, and just like the work that Doan's doing with Hockey Canada, like not on the junior side of it, like where like they're kind of in fire, but like with like world championships, like he helped like construct rosters and everything like that, and they won back-to-back golds. So it's like he has an eye for talent, and I think it could just help a ton with bolstering Toronto's lineup with veterans, depth and everything like that, and even prospects coming up. So I think for both sides, it's a really good move. But we had another trade, and it is Columbus once again, Hayden. Severson is traded to Columbus for a third-round pick going back to New Jersey, and it was a sign and trade. Another one of those sign and trades. Severson signed an 8-year, $6.25 million AAV that comes out to a total money of $50 million. Severson had 33 points in 82 games last year. Columbus also just recently acquired Ivan Provorov from Philadelphia. So Columbus trying to get better quick, trying to retool on the fly. Severson is 29 years old, so he'll be about 37 years old when this contract expires. Rich. But yeah. What do you boys think about this deal from both sides?
You want to go first, Emile?
You can go if you want. Sorry.
Oh no, all good. It's now we know kind of what Columbus is doing. They're definitely retooling. They definitely think that they have a better situation than what was shown from last year. And you know what? Maybe call me an idiot, but buying into it doesn't seem like it's the worst thing in the world because they do have pieces. You know what I mean? Yeah, they gave away Caprice
Corpusalo.
Corpusalo, fuck. Man, my name lately, my
Kaprizov's
name's
on Minnesota bed. He's
I
playing.
know he is, but it's just fucking man. I get so worked up. I'm like my dad now, just forgetting fucking names.
So nervous.
Yeah. But they gave away Corpusalo, but then they just go right back and do another trade, and they got like they have pieces. It's just now you got to put it together. But if they don't put it together, then this is huge. This is a
Yeah.
huge flop,
Yeah.
and it could just fucking turn to shit so quick. But I'm here for it.
Yeah. Do you think like Johnny Gaudreau went into his office and be like, "Look, Yarmo, figure it the fuck out, because I didn't sign here for 8 years to just
Absolutely.
be bottom 5 in the league every year."
Yeah, I didn't
So
sign in Ohio, okay, to deal with this shit. All
yeah,
right, fix it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I think Columbus this year was trash for him, but yeah, like you're saying, like I didn't think they were gonna go out and try to make these like trades for these defensemen because obviously I think their D is what they're most focused on right now because they do have some pieces up front, like you said, Gaudreau, they got Line, Kent Johnson's a hell of a player, and they got the third pick this year in the draft, I think, right? Third.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean? I think they're just building for the future and they're trying to build from the back end out. But yeah, I mean, like you said, if this doesn't if they got to make some more moves because what they have right now isn't going to cut it at all. They still need to make some bigger moves in the future to even try to make a run or at a playoff spot. But I think this is a good signing in a way because I think Severson is a good defenseman. He's a little old though for they're almost 30 already and he'll be 37. So um, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I guess they're just trying to catch him in his prime for a bit, but who knows if he'll be past his prime by the time they're contending for anything. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah,
yeah. I think it was a little rich for where this team's at. I think it was kind of unnecessary to sign him that long at a decently high AAV. I would understand these moves if they had the first overall pick and were getting Bedard so that they could like be competitive for him quickly. But Leo Carlson, who's projected to go at 3, like I still think he needs maybe a year or two. Who knows, like with European players, but he might be NHL ready now. I don't know. But like I just think Columbus, the jump, like they're not gonna go from like this team to like contending in the playoffs like right away. So I think like these moves are kind of wasteful. I strictly think they're doing it because like Johnny Gaudreau is like, yo, can we just like put a competitive team together, please? And Herder dove into New Jersey Devils Twitter for a bit today, and I just saw like a bunch of people had the opinion on Severson as like he was New Jersey's punching bag, like Tyler Myers is in Vancouver. Like,
oh really?
yeah, like they would like focus on his negatives and not really pay attention to the positives he did 5 minutes prior. So I think it was kind of a healthy time for Severson to go and get a new start, I guess, or just a new chapter. And he won a long-term deal. New Jersey didn't want to provide that, so the only way of getting that 8th year was a sign and trade. And Columbus obviously looks desperate enough to be somewhat mid, so they did it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I like Severson's a good like second pair defenseman, but I don't know if I'd give him an 8.625 deal. That just seems like a lot for a 29-year-old, especially for
Mm-hmm.
8 years. But
I agree.
we're gonna go to some more signings. Gavrikov, LA took that cap space that they made from trading like Cal Peterson and blah 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 blah. They signed Gavrikov to a 2-year, $11 million deal, about $5.8 million a year. So pretty solid signing. I think Gavrikov was a trade deadline pickup, and he was solid. So I think especially for 2 years, and apparently he didn't want to sign a long-term deal. He just wanted to sign 2 years because then the caps go up and he's gonna cash in again.
get a
So
badge.
do you guys agree with that logic, or would you try and sign for security?
No, if I'm him, he looks like a solid defenseman, and you know what I mean. If LA seems like a place to be for good, solid defensemen. So I mean, this is just going to build his image up a bit if he's playing there, and just like you said, if he just wants the 2 years, he'll look a whole lot better in 2 years playing on LA with that D. And yeah, he'll probably get more than 5.8 million in his next signing wherever he goes. I think he's a really solid defensive defenseman. When I was watching him play against the Oilers, he caught my eye. He was a pretty solid defenseman.
Yeah.
Takes the body, good stick. So good signing. And yeah, obviously LA didn't want to let him go for nothing. So they had to clear up some cap space and make a signing for him. So good on them. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Hayden?
Yeah, no, we talked about it when LA made the cap space for all these moves to happen. And I believe the consensus was kind of expected for this to happen. So locking up a solid defenseman for years, and yeah, like Emile said, just gaining an image for himself in an amazing place. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
I agree. Oilers signed Derek Ryan to a 2-year, $1.8 million deal, $900,000 average. Just a good third, fourth liner. He caught my eye in the playoffs just as a solid depth player who just he was a grinder. I think this is a good sign for cheap.
Very cheap.
Yeah, I think it's a why not kind of move. But we're gonna go to the trade bait board because there is news around the league about players wanting out. And majority of it is surrounded around Winnipeg.
Oh yeah.
And news came out that Dubois, Hellebuck, and Scheifele have informed Winnipeg that when their contracts are up, they will not be re-signing. So I can only assume that trades will be made this offseason by Winnipeg. I also noticed that Besser and Garland are in the top 5 trade bait lists, according to TSN. So that's a very interesting thing to keep an eye on. And John Gibson has informed Anaheim that he wants a change of scenery. DeBrincat, as I prefaced earlier, with his really rich qualifying offer of like over $9 million, chances are he's going to get traded as well. And I think like Florida's on his radar and a few other places. I think every team will be asking about DeBrincat because he's a very skilled player. Noah Hannafin, Calgary might be taking calls on him. And Tom Wilson is in LA Kings vision. The LA Kings are kind of talking about acquiring Wilson. And I think this is massive because thanks to this Vegas Golden Knights run, the power forward is back. It felt like it was kind of dying the past few years. It was going to more of a smaller, faster skill kind of league. But now what Vegas has shown what it needs to win, they didn't really have a ton of that small, skilled, incredible star power. A lot of their wins came from big, heavy, hard-hitting guys, puck battles, and Kleino goals. So I think Tom Wilson would be a wicked addition to anyone. Bit older, but I think the power forward is back. So thank you, Vegas, for bringing back that exciting style of hockey. But I went and rambled on a huge tangent there. But out of the names I kind of threw out there, what kind of catches your attention? Emile, I'll go to you.
Noah Hannafin, that would be interesting to see where he ends up if he doesn't end up in Calgary because he's a solid offensive defenseman. Besser, Garland, I don't think Besser is going anywhere. I just don't think he's movable right now at this point to get something in return that'll be worth it. But Garland, I do think he will not be in a Canucks uniform next year. Don't know where he's going to go. Don't know who wants him, but I don't think he'll play with the Canucks. And John Gibson, doesn't want to be in Anaheim. Interesting. I mean, where do you think he wants to go?
I don't think he wants to go to Canada.
Not Winnipeg, eh?
No,
Winnipeg seems like the place that no one wants to play in. Like 3 of their star players are saying they don't want to be there right now, which is tough because now they're going to be in full rebuild mode. No retool without a good goalie. Connor Hellebuyck's one of the best goalies in the year. If he doesn't want to play with you, now what do you do?
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe a Washington Gibson goes to as maybe a Pittsburgh. Kind of something like that. But like even last year when Toronto was calling about him, like Toronto's a good team, and he was like, "Nah, I don't want to go to Toronto." So like I don't know if it's the Canadian spotlight. Maybe he'll go to like an Ottawa where it's kind of a bit more undercover. Like I don't know where he'll go,
He might
but
just
I
like the
just
nice weather. He likes it in Anaheim. Maybe he wants to stay on the West Coast there.
goes to San Jose. Imagine,
Just
but I don't know.
Arizona.
Maybe he goes to Seattle. Like it's not too far from Anaheim, and Seattle just had a massive point improvement, and I think he'd be a better option than Grubauer or Martin Jones. Like I think there's a lot of teams. Like the goalie market's probably going to be the hottest commodity this offseason. I'm really excited to see the carousel
I want to
of
see where Connor
goalies.
Hellebuck goes because that's going to be a
Yeah,
big, big piece to someone's puzzle for sure.
imagine him on TO. That would be kind of crazy. But
Oh yeah, if he played in Toronto, that would fix a lot of their problems.
yeah. But hey, out of the names that I kind of threw into a blender there, what kind of catches your attention?
It definitely John Gibson. You guys already talked about it. That one in itself is super interesting. And as you're saying, like with the Canadian teams, yeah, it could be kind of funny if it's just purely he doesn't want to play in Canada.
The
I'd find
taxes.
that I'd find that absolutely hilarious. But then I also saw um there is a big goalie carousel now, and it could be heading for the draft.
Yeah,
And Demko is actually a name to watch out for as well for the Canucks. I know
yeah.
you said Garland and Besser, but if a team gets desperate enough, I don't know how Vancouver is. I want them to be set in a place, but they're not. But I mean, if the offer is good enough for Demko, do you do that? Same thing with
Chicago, give us the
Besser.
first overall, but
Oh
Or
God,
Demko.
Demko's
Okay.
yours.
that'd
We'll
be
throw in
fucking
Tyler Myers
hilarious.
to spice it up a
And
bit.
Garland. Screw it.
Would you give your first Demko and Pedersen for Bedard?
That's
Oh, the PD makes it hard.
That's exactly why I said this. Just thought it occurred in my head because it's like generational talent. Like if you knew that you were gonna get someone like McDavid or close to McDavid, would you give up Pedersen and your best goalie?
No.
it's just
I would only give up one of the three. Like I feel like Patterson is our forward, Hughes is our defenseman, Demko's our goalie. If we give up just Demko, at least you still have those two. But if we get rid of Patterson and Demko, then we're just left. I mean, Bedard would fill in that forward, but like, do we know that for sure?
Exactly.
No.
It's the
I mean,
uncertainty.
it's just like the two-way presence that Pedersen brings. Like I think he's gonna be like a 90 to 110 point player, like Selke level centerman. It's just like he's kind of scrawny, but like Bedard's also small. And like I'm pretty sure Bedard's a winger. So it's like I don't know. It's like I like how I'm fucking like talking as if Bedard's not gonna be absolutely unreal. But but like it's just so hard when like you're nowhere near contending, so you need all the pieces you
You
can.
can get, yeah. Yeah. It was
I
just a thought. Food for thought.
oh
that
man.
would if that actually
Honest,
happened, that would be insane.
honestly, I'd do it.
Just to see Bedard play at
Wow.
Rogers Arena.
I think I'd do it.
Well, ticket sales would immediately
Jump. Yeah.
skyrocket.
I think I would do it.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I love Pedersen. I do.
But not
But
enough.
no, but like I just think about the status of our team.
Would you do it
Right?
for Hughes? Hughes? Instead of Petey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it. I would
No,
do it for Hughes instead of
I'm
PD
just thinking
too.
about it now because like we're already thinking about trading Demko. Like honestly, I don't think we deserve him right now. Like if I'm being straight up honest, like I love Demko, but I think he deserves a better team in front of him. Right? Like Demko's what, 26, 27? By the time we're good, he's not going to be the goalie he is now. So ship him off now, right? Because like we have Silovs who just won double like world championships MVPs. Not I don't think is he capable of being a number one starter for years on? Who knows? But like Canucks produce goalies at like a very surprising rate. That's like half decent, right? And goalies hard to come by, but I just don't think Demko's going to be the level he is now by the time we're contending. So I have no problem giving him away. Pedersen, I think Bedard Pedersen, you swap that out. It's tough, but like I'll take the risk on Bedard, right? I think it's a very low risk. And
High reward.
yeah. So and then thing is though, like our prospect pool sucks ass. So, but like I just think like I would take the risk and do it. And Bedard's younger, and then we can kind of like kickstart a retool that like lines up with the age of our players a bit better.
Yeah,
I
it'd
don't
be
know.
interesting. It would be really interesting if that actually happened.
Yeah, it's
Alvini, make it happen, buddy.
dude. He's not
Alvini,
capable.
make it happen.
He's not capable of doing anything smart.
No.
So, but another name in the goalie market is Carter Hart. That's gonna be an interesting name where to go. Um, yeah. So the goalie carousel is gonna be really interesting. Imagine like Winnipeg, Vancouver, and Philly. They just all do like a 3-team swap.
I'll
Take
take
care.
Hellebuck. We'll take Hellebuck.
Yeah, we'll take Hallie for sure, for sure, for sure.
Winnipeg gets Hart because they're in a full-on rebuild without all those players, and then Winnipeg gets, I don't know, who would go to Philly? Demko? Oh, that's poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
Poor guy.
You know what? I take it back. I take it back.
Yeah, you're gonna ship him off to Philly?
I saw this cool thing about Garland, this article piece about Lafreniere for Garland straight up. I would do that.
Oh my god, any day of the week.
But I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think New
No, I don't
York's
think
that
so
dumb.
either.
New York's not that dumb. But yeah, let's I think that's all I got for NHL news here. Hayden, there's some players who missed mandatory training camp in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any news around the NFL that we should sprinkle in here quickly?
You know what? Since I didn't do it justice last week, we will talk about football, but not the football that you're expecting. But yeah, we will say, Stephon Diggs missing mandatory minicamp. That's obviously the big name right now. It's kind of sus.
Yeah.
And really no one knows. Devin White, even though he has to be traded, is still showing up to mandatory minicamp. He's not participating, but he's still showing up. So I mean, it's just Devin White immediately sees that the Bucks are now shit, and now he wants out. Wow, what a scumbag. But other than that, I can't really think of.
Chris Jones also missed.
Oh, Chris Jones.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Yeah, that's just contract dispute. And I mean, pay the man whatever you fucking want. Like, Jesus Christ. Mahomes even is willing to take less off of his contract. Like he's putting on the Brady and Breeze treatment, and no one's talking about that. So yeah, Chiefs, just re-sign Jones. Like, please. Don't be stupid.
Yeah. He's like the best at his position. Just sign him.
Easily. I mean, other than Aaron Donald, maybe.
He's up top 3.
Yeah, top 3. But the other football that is on, we didn't do it justice last week. And I feel like we have to talk about them because
Messi to Inter Miami? Is that the football you're talking about?
That's what I'm thinking.
Not taking the Saudi deal. No, we're talking about the Canadian football, actually, boys. It's not really like a prominent thing. It's not a big thing on this podcast, but I mean, I like to shed a little bit of shit with them. Obviously last year didn't have the hopes we wanted, lost in the Western Final to go to the Grey Cup. Sad. But we did beat the Grey Cup champs 44-10 in week 2 or 3, so that was cool. But this year, kind of the same thing. I expect Winnipeg and BC to be atop of the West, as well. Maybe mix in Calgary for the West, and then the East. I'm thinking Toronto again because they've just brought everyone back, and Montreal. Montreal seems to be doing some good stuff. But the cool thing that I want to say is this Saturday, it looks like the whole lower bowl has been sold out, which is like 40 to 50,000 people. Amar
Oh,
Doman, best owner in the league. I was telling my dad this. Somehow he should just find the money to buy the Canucks because this man, I don't know if you guys have heard. Well, I told you, Jeff, but Emile performing an hour before the game this Saturday, two-time Grammy Award winner LL Cool J will be performing live. Yeah,
At the
like
BC Lions game?
at the BC Lions game.
What? I need tickets, man.
Tickets $25.
That's insane.
Absolutely insane. Just don't go and buy any like of their clothing because you'll see why tickets are $25.
$500 for a hoodie. It's like, okay.
I legit think it's about $300 for a jersey, which is absolutely insane. But it's like the type of environment that he wants to get is people coming and watching football.
Just get you in the building.
Exactly. Season tickets have already gone up like 200% since last year. So, and like season tickets, they were offered for $200. And that goes like if they win, then they get a playoff game. You know what I mean? Like, and that's all paid for. They get preseason, all that shit. Like,
That's a steal, man. Holy
absolutely.
$200 for season tickets?
$200 for season tickets.
How many games do they play?
10 games.
That's
at home.
insane. That's $20 a pop, not even including
Absolutely.
playoffs.
Dude, my driver was
Absolutely.
$290.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Amar Doman, like I'm saying, I've been saying this, he's the best owner I think I've seen on the come up. I don't know how the hell he got LL Cool J to perform, but
Yeah.
every time I'm there, it is electric. It is amazing. So I'm actually like super looking forward to this season. They got new unis. We even posted about them. The fog unis look absolutely fire on the field. I can't wait to see the All Blacks. So
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
yeah, let's hope BC gets to the top of the West. And yeah, that's the CFL preview.
Well, I'm going to see a BC Lions game this year. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I like highly suggest that if you can, I'd like obviously short notice, but like how many times do you get to see fucking LL Cool J for like less than $50, man? Absolutely insane.
Aquilini should take a page out of this guy's book and just like bring tickets down so you get more asses in the seats and they'll be more inclined to buy stuff from the concession and merch store.
Absolutely.
If they don't come to the game, then you can't sell anything else.
No.
Even
Exactly.
even if you take like $50 off ticket prices and then raise beer prices by $1, it'll even out.
Oh, it'll even
Will it
out.
ever?
It'll even out.
So it's just like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, come on now. But yeah,
It'd be like a $12 beer.
people are there
Worth
to drink
it?
beers. But yeah, the Messi deal that he turned down from the Saudis, 3 years, $1.6 billion.
How do you turn that down?
Because he got percentage of Inter Miami. He got
So he plays them and owns them a bit too.
Yeah, so he owns a part of the team. He's getting 2% of season ticket sales from Inter Miami. He's getting a percentage of Messi jersey sales. He's getting percentage of Apple Plus subscriptions for the MLS.
Jesus Christ.
Like all his contract is basically like percentage based on like royalties off of everything else. And plus his salary. So it's like, and he like owns the team. So
yeah,
it's
talk
like
about job security.
Yeah, so that's just money he's making like 10 years down the road. Right?
I also saw that I think like when they announced that he was joining the team, the Inter Miami Instagram went from like 4 million to like 10 million in like a day.
Yeah, they have more subscribers than the NBA, NHL, NFL, like the leagues on Instagram. Like Inter Miami has more followers.
Yeah, it's insane. Like that's what soccer around the world, like if people love Messi, like think about how many more Argentinian followers are following Inter Miami now.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. People love Messi. He's a god in Argentina, man.
Yeah. They showed like a thing, it's like the real winner's David Beckham, because like he joined MLS, so then he got first choice at expansion rights or whatever. When they presented expansion teams, he chose Miami. He owns Miami. They played their first game 3 years later. They get Messi, and then the club's now worth over $600 million
Yep.
after getting Messi. And he bought it for like really cheap. So it's like, Jesus. Okay, rake it in, but leave some for the rest of us. But
Oh, shout out my parents. They're actually in Europe right now, and they caught me a Messi jersey or a
let's go.
vintage Argentina one. I don't have any soccer jerseys. Not a huge soccer guy, but that's one I'll keep forever.
Yeah, that's
Messi,
fine.
come
That's
on,
fine.
man. Come on. He's not going anywhere. Guy's the
No.
GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT. That's fire though. But we're gonna go over to some golf here. We're gonna rewind to the RBC Open because Nick Taylor, Canadian kid, defeats Tommy Fleetwood in 4 playoff holes with a 72-foot putt to win and become the first Canadian to win the RBC Canadian Open since 1954.
Whoa.
I don't know if you've seen any videos about this, but
Oh yeah.
the atmosphere there was insane. And Adam Hanwin went onto the green to spray him with champagne and got tackled by security
That's
because
such a
they
good
thought
video.
it was amazing.
The
Because they
video
thought,
that video of like behind, like where like you see him like the back of him spraying with champagne and the security just tackles him is an unreal video.
that'd be roughing the passer in the NFL.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. No, but it was such a cool video, such an electric atmosphere. And yeah, I just had to mention that. But we're gonna end this episode with a US Open draft. It is major week. Yeah, US Open in California. I think it's like Los Angeles
Los Angeles.
Country Club or whatever. No, it's gonna be absolutely electric. So we're gonna do as we usually do, a nice little 5-round draft.
Oh yeah.
Emile, big golf guy over here.
Huge golf guy.
Huge golf guy. As
Tiger Woods.
guests,
Tiger Woods, my first pick. I'm joking.
yeah. Is he playing in this?
He's
As
not his son. His son. No, I'm joking.
yeah, Charlie Woods. As guests of the show, you get to pick either 1, 2, or 3. Obviously it goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, blah 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 blah. You know how a snake draft works. So Emile, where would you like to draft? First, second, or third?
First.
First. All right.
Wow. Don't see that happen every time.
Yeah, no, usually the 2 spots filled right away. But Hayden, call it in the air. Hey Siri, heads or tails?
It's tails.
Oh, I was gonna say heads. So
Okay.
that was quick.
I thought you said something, so I just like said it right away.
No.
All right. Well, I'll go second.
All right. Third it is.
There it is. All right, Emile.
I'm writing this down, by the way.
You're writing it down. Fire. I don't have to write it down then. Emile.
Yeah.
Who are you picking with the first overall pick in the left side heavy US Open 2023 draft?
With the first pick, I'm joking. Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, it's hard to go against him there. Hard to go against him. Number 1 golfer in the world. Is that good?
Yeah.
This guy is a sniper when it comes to majors, especially the US Open. Recent PGA winner, Brooks Koepka.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. God
Brooks
damn it.
Koepka. Also, Hayden, there's no restrictions or whatever you have to meet here. We're just picking whoever.
Perfect. Okay, well with that I'll go Bryson DeChambeau. No, I'm kidding. With the first pick for me, I guess I'll go with yeah, I'll do obviously it's a snake, so I'll go Hovland
Yep.
and then I'll go Rom.
Yeah. That's 2 shoo-ins right there.
That's just bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
All
All
right,
right.
now who do you got, boss?
Who I got? That's a very good question. I'm just looking here. A lot more guys than I thought.
Yeah, there's so many fucking players this week.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. I'm gonna go with young gun. You need accuracy when it comes to the US Open, and there's not a lot of guys more accurate than Colin Morikawa. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Colin Morikawa.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if there's a lot more guys accurate than him. I just kind of made that up. He's a good iron striker, though. That's what I know.
He is. He is.
All right, 2 picks for you, Tracy.
All right, with my second pick, we're gonna go with Jason Day.
Ooh,
Ooh.
interessante.
Yeah,
Kind
interesting.
of like it though.
And then I go again.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got the old reach around.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with Rory McIlroy.
Rory.
Yeah. The drama man himself.
Yeah, I would hate to be him, like
Oh, absolutely.
defending the PGA and then them just being like,
Getting shafted.
yeah. Remember that $400 million that you got offered and you could have accepted?
Tough titties.
Yeah, suck on that one. I'm gonna go with the son-in-law to the great one,
DJ.
Dustin Johnson. And he's also dating a complete missile launcher, so
So that's why.
yeah. Just so I can see her hug him on the 18th green. Paulina.
Oh boy. Okay. Now I got 2, so this is gonna be interesting. You know what? I think looking at the list, it's pretty nice. I think I kind of do want a Canadian, but
Okay.
first I'm gonna go with the man, Si Woo Kim.
Ho, ho, ho.
I feel like he has a big weekend coming up.
For sure.
And then, oh, no, I'll save my Canadian for last. So that means, let's see, who do I go now? Maybe I go. Tommy Fleetwood was in it last week. I don't think he'll be in it this week. I'll go Xander Schauffele.
Xander. With an X.
Yes, sir.
With an X. All right. I don't know where Emile's head is going. I feel like he's a big favorites kind of guy.
He's looking at Bet365 favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the hometown kid. All his tour wins have come in the state of California. Give me Max Homa.
The homo.
The homo himself. Max Homa.
All right. Last 2 picks for you, Mr. Emile.
We're gonna go with Patrick Cantley.
Patrick can't play. Nice.
This Patrick can't play fast. Nice.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna finish off with an Aussie, Cameron Smith.
Cameron Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid pick.
Guy's
That's a
got
good
nasty
one.
flow. Nasty flow. Have to respect it.
Yeah, it's hard to go against him.
Hard to go against that hair. Beauty.
And that poo stash he has.
Oh, he does.
That lip sweater. It's blonde too, which makes it even more dirty.
Yeah, it's just disgusting at this point.
How more
Yeah.
Australian can you get?
Exactly. All right. This guy's kind of let me down in the past.
I already am gonna write it down for you. I
Tell
know
me
who
the-
it is.
Tell me the name, Hayden.
Jordan Spieth.
No, Justin Thomas.
What? Thomas. Okay. I mean, yeah, they both kind of have let you
Yeah.
down.
I find myself picking both of them in every single team, and they like miss the cut or some shit.
Oh yeah, they'll miss the cut or be like at least right at the neck of it.
Well, they'll be like 2 under, but then the first is like 9 under, and he's like on the 16th hole of like the final round. I'm like, he doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, he doesn't have a chance. No,
Unless
he's fucked.
Yeah, unless everyone gets an 8 on every single hole for the rest of the round, Spieth ain't winning.
All right, with my final pick, I'm gonna go with the Canadian. I usually like Corey Connors, but give me Mackenzie Hughes.
Mackenzie
Ooh.
Huggy
Yeah.
Bear Hughes.
I have a very diverse team.
I think
yeah.
I only picked Americans.
Yeah. I only have one American. I have Hovland, Rom, Kim, Schauffele, and Hughes.
Yeah, you hit every single country in the world.
Yeah,
there.
you did. Respect.
Let's go.
All right, do you wanna run through the teams, Hayden?
I will. With the first overall, and the team Emile, we'll go Scotty Scheffler. I just wanted to be cool. I wanted to be cool, but I couldn't think of another name for Jason Day. Sir Rory himself, Can't Play, and Cam Smith.
Yeah, boy. It's a squad right there.
And Team Jev, he got my Lord and Savior Brooksy, Colin Morikawa, DJ, Max Homo, and JT. And then I obviously have, like I said before, the Mr. Team Diverse, Victor Hovland, John Rahm,
Mr.
Siwoo
World-
Kim,
Mr.
Xander-
Worldwide.
Yeah, Pitbull drafted a team.
Yeah,
Xander Schauffele and Mackenzie Hughes.
Love it. Love
good
it.
stuff.
Great episode. Emile, thank you so much for taking time out of your night to join us.
My pleasure, buddy. It's fun as always.
Love it. Love it. Love to hear from you. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Emile_Tracy, Twitter, Emile Tracy _, I believe. And yeah, you can find me on those socials. DM me.
Can
whatever.
they catch any of the work you're doing for Canucks Army?
Yeah, Canucks Army. I am posting graphics, clipping some of their videos for YouTube, and social media as well on TikTok and Instagram. So yeah, you can check that stuff out as well. Interact with them, comment on their posts. We put up a lot of question graphics and stuff about the Canucks going into the off season and going into the next season. So yeah, do whatever you can to follow them and give them a follow. Canucks Army on Twitter. It's a good time.
Comment on every post and say "Fire Edit" by Emile Tracy.
Yeah,
You'll love it.
yeah. Fi.
Fire.
Oh my god.
FYE.
Yeah. Fuck you, Emile.
Yeah.
Quick.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Fire Emile. Good one.
Uh,
Jeff, quick tidbit for you. Brooks Koepka shot a 62 for his practice round today.
he's not making the cut.
No.
I'm fucked.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh shit. Okay, love that. Love to hear
But-
that.
Well, you got 4 other players to bet on, so
Yo, fucking Bryson DeChambeau today, he said he hit around 450 balls on the range. What a psycho.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he was on there for like 4
Crazy.
hours. I would never.
All right.
Hey, where can the people find you?
On Instagram and Twitter at Hayden_Barton.
You can follow me on Instagram at Jevin.Lefave, on Twitter at JevinLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LeftSideHeavy_. And subscribe to the YouTube Left Side Heavy, where you can catch all podcasts in video format. You can also find me at the local drugstore getting allergy medicine because
Claritin.
I took a Claritin and it only did worse. So that company is dead to me, and I'm gonna go get a reactant.
Screw
But-
Claritin.
No sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Claritin. But thank you so much for listening. KB and R coming later this week, but as you already know, me and Hayden have no idea what the fuck we're doing yet. So that episode's coming to you Friday, and we will see you then. Peace.